All right, so we're going to start with factoring. So we're going to learn how to go from what we call the standard form. Okay, so remember that the standard form is the one that looks like this. Right, where it's the most expanded form, to a form that looks like this. Now there's going to be different steps that we're going to follow. Okay, different ways that we can factor. Okay, so we're going to go from this form to this form with a process called factoring. Okay, so there's three different kind of factoring that we're going to learn. All right, first one is going to be common factoring. Then we're going to learn factoring difference of squares. Then we're going to learn factoring sum and product. Okay, but the most important thing that you need to know is you can do common factoring first, let's say, and then you can do one of the other two methods after it, okay? But the first thing that we're going to learn is how to just do common factoring, then we're going to learn the other two methods, then we're going to do the combination of all. The opposite of expanding, so when remember when we used to do FOIL and we used to multiply, that should be S, not R. Okay, that should be the letter S. You remember when we used to FOIL and then we used to multiply, right? We call that expanding. The opposite of expanding is called factoring. Okay, so these are two opposite operations. Okay, so the opposite of expanding is factoring. Now, a greatest common factor is an expression that can be divided into each term in a polynomial. Okay? I say an expression because it's not only a number, it could be a number and a letter, or it could be just a number, or it could be just a letter. Okay? So let's look what that means. So in this case, I have a trinomial. I have 9x cubed minus 15x squared plus 3x. If you're looking at all these three terms, looking at your numbers, so you have 9, you have 15, and you have 3. What number can you divide each term by? 3, right? Each term is divisible by 3. 9 is divisible by 3, 15 is divisible by 3, and 3 is divisible by 3. Okay? Now, you're not only looking at the numbers, you're also looking at the letter. Do all terms have the letter x in it? Now, the first one is an x cubed, the second one is an x squared, the third one is just an x. Okay? So your greatest common factor is also the letter x, right? So if you're looking at this one, this is 3 exponent, 2 exponent, and exponent of 1. All right? So that means you're going to have a greatest common factor of 3x, right? Because each term can be divided by 3x. Does that make sense? Does that make sense how you find your greatest common factor? So first you look at your number and see what number can divide into each term. And you're going to look at the letter and see what common letter you have. Okay? Now, we say that the 3x is our common factor. So here's how we divide. Here's what we do to factor it out. Since we know that 3x is our common factor, what you're going to do, you're going to write your 3x outside. So you're going to put an equal sign. You're going to write your common factor outside. And then you're going to divide each term by the 3x. Okay? Make sure that you write your greatest common factor outside. Otherwise, you're changing your equality. So, after I do that, I can just write my answer with my greatest common factor outside, and then I can divide. What's 9 divided by 3? What's x cubed divided by x? Eyes on me for a second. X cubed means what? It's x times x times x. You're dividing that by an x. So what happened is this and this, they cancel each other. So what do you have left? X squared, right? So if I'm dividing x cubed by x, basically what I'm doing is I'm subtracting my exponent. So 3 minus 1 is 2, so I'm left with x2. Okay? Now, if you have negative 15 over 3, that gives me negative 5. Okay? Then x squared over x, what does that give you? X plus, what's 3x divided by 3x? 1. Anything divided by itself is 1. So the answer for this one is 1. So you see in this case, this is my greatest common factor. And whatever is here is my leftover. Okay? So when you're writing your answer, you're going to write your GCF, and then you're going to write your leftovers in brackets. Anytime you are factoring, always, your first question is, do I have a greatest common factor? Before you go to any other steps, this is your first question when you're factoring. Okay? So, at the beginning, I will be showing you that middle step, but later on, as we move forward, I'll probably be omitting that middle step. So you can do that too, but I want you to get practice with it first. So let's look at the second question. I have 8x to the power of 4 minus 4x cubed plus 20x squared. What would be your greatest common factor? So look at your numbers first. What can you divide each number by? 4 or 2? Remember, we're looking at the greatest, okay? So greatest, if you choose 2, yes, 2 is divisible by 8, 4, and 20 are divisible by 2. But is it your greatest? No. You can divide 8 by 4. You can divide 4 by 4. You can divide 20 by 4. So 4 is your greatest number. I would always start with the smallest number I see in the term, right? Because you can't go anything greater than that lowest number. So you can't choose, let's say, 10. Or you can't choose 8, because 4 cannot divide into 10 or 8. Okay? So, good. So we decided with a number, which is 4. How about the letter? Do I have x in each one of them? Okay. And what would be my degree for that x? What's my lowest degree there? 2. So that means your greatest common factor is 4x squared, because you're going to take the lowest degree. Okay? So in this case, it's going to be 4x squared, right? So that means I'm going to divide each term by 4x squared. Because what was my lowest exponent up there? Right? Okay, so that means I have, what do I have left? What's 8x to the power of 4 divided by 4x squared? 8 divided by 4 is 2. x4 divided by x2 is x squared. Minus 4 divided by 4 is 1. X cubed over x squared is x. And then 20 divided by 4, x squared over x squared. They cancel each other, no? So it's just 5. Are we okay with this? So if we're looking at B, I have 25x squared minus 100. What do you think would be your lowest, your greatest common factor here? 25. Can I divide 25 by 25? Yes. Can I divide 100 by 25? Yes. So always look at your smallest number and try that first. Okay? Because probably when you're looking at this, you're going to think of 5 or you're going to think of 4. No, 4, you can't do 4, right? You're going to think of 5. But then if you take 5 out, that's not your greatest. So always start with your lowest number. Okay, so we know, is there a letter? Is there a common letter for both? No. So I can only divide by the number 25. So what do I have left? What's my leftover? X squared minus 4. Okay, I want you to take about half a minute, 30 seconds to try the next question. What do you think would be a common term that I can factor out of negative 54x4 plus 135x? X is going to be there, yes. How about the number? Is there any number that I can divide by both? Do you guys think I can divide by 5? 4? What? What are you going to divide? They don't? Sure they do. Three? Is that your greatest? So let's see. Don't write this down yet. I'm just going to write this. So if you think it's 3, right, and then you want to factor 3 out, if you divide this by 3, what do you get? What's 54 divided by 3? 18. Huh? 18. And what's 135 divided by 3? Is there a common factor between 18 and 45? Yes. Okay, so that means 3 is not your greatest common factor. So you're going to have to try other things. Now, this could help you, right? Because what else can you factor out? Another 3 maybe? If you factor out another 3, then you have what? 6 and 15? Right? Is there a common factor again here? Yes. What is it? Another 3. Right? If you divide by 3, then you get 2 and 5. Now you don't have any more common factor, right? So what I factored out 3 3s, which is 3 times 3 times 3, that's what? 27. Okay? So even if you factor out and it's not your greatest common, look at your numbers and see if there's anything else that you can factor out before you say, yes, that's my final answer. Okay? Now, here's the thing that I want you guys to pay attention to. Whenever your first term is a negative, you must factor the negative out. So it's not only 27, it's going to be negative 27. Whenever your first term is a negative, I want you to factor out that negative. Clear? So that means my common factor is negative 27, and we said x, right? Because x has my lowest degree. So if I divide negative 54x squared by negative 27x. And then I divide 135x by negative 27x. Let's see what we have left. So what do I have left when I divide negative 54 by negative 27? 2. Positive 2, yeah? Because negative divided by a negative is a positive.
Why is 54x squared not?
Sorry, it should be 4. Yep, thank you. And then what's x4 over x? What? What's x to the power of 4 divided by x? X cubed. Okay? You have 135 divided by negative 27. What is that? What is that? Negative 5. You see, guys, here, eyes on me. Positive and a negative makes a negative, and it's negative 5. The x and the x, they're going to cancel each other, so that is my final answer.